published 11:14 Eastern Daylight Saving Time, the 11th of May 2018, updated 11:29 Eastern Daylight Saving Time, the 11th of May 2018. A handful of PGA stars took some time away from the Players' Championship to perform some of the favorite trick shots. Joining forces with YouTube sensations F2Freestylers, Ian Poulter, Sergio Garcia, Tommy Fleetwood and Tyrrell Hatton were just some of the competitors at TPC Sawgrass to put the tricks to the test. The latest release by the Freestylers saw Poulter and co put the best skills with a golf club on display, as well as attempting some football trick shots too. The PGA Tour's best and brightest put the skills on show at the Players' Championship. Ian Poulter was one of a handful of players to join the F2Freestylers for a trick shot. F2Freestylers are famed for pulling off some of the most ludicrous tricks with a football. However, some of golf's finest talents gave them a run for the money at Sawgrass. Former Masters winner Garcia got the show on the road with the two-way shot. This involved putting two balls into different holes using two different putters. The Spaniard held these with ease and gave a good insight of what was to come. Next came Charles Schwartzel and his double hat-trick. With two balls balanced neatly on top of each other, what came next was nothing short of masterful. The golfers took some time away from the ongoing Players' Championship to take part. Former Masters winner Sergio Garcia gets the show on the road with his two-way putt. Charles Schwartzel attempts the double hat-trick with freestyler Billy Wingrove. Schwartzel catches the ball with his hat, as Wingrove does the same at the other end. Poulter Wright was joined by fellow Englishman Tommy Fleetwood at TPC Sawgrass. The pair show the synchronicity as they successfully chip a golf ball at the same target. Poulter and Fleetwood also show the patriotic side as they hold the English flag aloft. The South African chipped the balls that were balanced on top of one another. The first flew up vertically, while the other traveled towards the waiting Billy Wingrove, one half of the Freestylers. Simultaneously, the pair whipped their hats off and caught their respective ball. As well as the opening two efforts, there was a vast number of tricks on show. Poulter performed the ricochet before going on to land the ball in the pocket of Wingrove from close distance. The latter then got involved with his 3-for-1, gently sending a trio of balls into the same hole one by one. These were just the tasters, however. Things really began to get interesting when the two sports collided. Wesley Bryan entered the frame with the soccer chip, as he swiped the back of a football and sent it into the control of Wingrove with fine precision. Wesley Bryan, second left, and John Ram, second right, get a picture with the F2Freestylers. American Bryan chips a football towards Wingrove, who sits in a small black net. The seated Wingrove waits for the ball before neatly controlling it between his legs. Bryan was involved shortly after, this time alongside famed freestyler Jeremy Lynch. Bryan chips the ball past Lynch, who then picks it at the air with a lofted pass. The trust snipe saw the other half of the Freestylers, Jeremy Lynch, aka Jezza, putting his life in the hands of Bryan. Standing in front of the American golfer, Lynch watched on as the ball was chipped across him, before turning to pick the golf ball out of the sky with an accurate pass. John Ram, Hatton and Fleetwood then joined the party, with the latter Englishman rebounding a ball of a sponsored board and into a net sitting adjacent to it before teaming up with Poulter for the double whammy. Two balls, two clubs and two players. Perfectly in sync as they chipped onto a board sitting at the end of the tee. With all these efforts though, they truly saved the best until last as they attempted a cup shot. It looks a lot easier than it is, as Bryan chipped into a cup held by Lynch. Tyrrell Hatton holds his putter in the air after successfully holding the perfect putt. Liverpool fan Hatton, second left, faces off against Real Madrid supporter Garcia. Hatton whips a football into the net in a spin-off, a Champions League final spin-off to conclude this football golf bonanza. It was only fitting to end on a topical note, the Champions League final. They brought together Hatton, a Liverpool fan, and famed Real Madrid supporter Garcia for a head-to-head challenge. The gloves were off here, as they set their clubs aside and put their footwork to the test. They were challenged with floating a football into a nearby net to settle the rivalry. Hatton went first and didn't disappoint, nailing it first time. Game over for Garcia. No way. The Spaniard turned to the camera with great intensity and confidence. "You may think you have won, but Real Madrid always comes back," he says. The left-footed Garcia steps up and drops the ball into the net to leave the tie all square. They couldn't settle it in Florida, but it will be settled in Kiev at the end of this month. Follow all the action from TPC Sawgrass at Guitar across social media and at The Players Champ on Twitter, at The Players on Facebook, at The Players Champ on Instagram.